Hey y'all, it's May the 16th, 2016. I want to read you real quick an excerpt, pretty much the whole article.
It's off theadvocate.com, and I'll left you a link below if you want to read along with me. Now, before I go ahead and read this, I would like to add that if you take a look around, just that single page, in my honest opinion, what you're going to see is a disgusting freak show of abnormally grotesque looking people. Alright, let's go ahead and dive into the article. It reads like this. The Texas pastor who accused a local Whole Foods of writing the word fag on his cake is now publicly apologizing for making the story up. Now, you know what I'm saying? If you patron my channel, you might understand that this is probably one of the most popular videos that I ever made. Was the very day that I heard about this controversy. I said, this fool right here is lying, and he's lying very badly. Alright, and of course, that inspired a whole bunch of people in the comment box to either say, advocate for this Jordan Brown, and say that I'm a hater, and all sort of derogatory comments towards me, or, you know, there's a lot of folks who pretty much agreed with me instantly, and that Jordan Brown was a gosh dang liar. Anyways, the company did nothing wrong, said Jordan Brown, pastor of the Church of Open Doors in Austin, Texas, according to the Austin American Statesman, which is another publication. Brown originally claimed he'd gone down to his local Whole Foods market and ordered a cake for his congregation with the words "Love wins," only to get back one saying "Love wins fag" on it. Brown posted photos of the supposed hate cake on his social media accounts, which have all been deleted. And he sued Whole Foods, which countersued and distributed surveillance footage that it said proved Brown tampered with the cake's message. Now that Brown has admitted that his whole story was a complete fabrication, Whole Foods said in a statement it has dropped the countersuit, which sought at least $100,000 in damages. Brown also reported, he reportedly apologized to his partner and his church, because he runs a church, for diverting attention from real issues. He had launched the Church of Open Doors because, as he said in a fundraising pitch in 2013, LGBT people need a welcoming place. He said, at the age of 12, I felt God calling me, some sort of God calling me to preach the gospel. Obviously not all of the gospel, but I was apprehensive and I didn't feel accepted by my church because I was gay. He said in his pitch, unfortunately my story isn't unique. Truth is, many people don't feel welcome in today's churches. Alright? I'm gonna go in on this just real quick. Like I said, shout out to all the folks who knew that this fool was lying, alright? And did not give him an inch of slack for that, alright? Let's not go into this. I want to remind y'all. Most of the churches out there, they aren't worth going to. At all. Not at all. Not at all. Most of them, right? However, if you're going to make a church, see, this is the problem. See, this is a problem that it snowballs into a bigger problem, right? Before I even go into it, alright, if you happen to be a homosexual and you're watching this channel, know that I'm not trying to persecute you or burn your house down. I'm not a boogeyman monster, and I'm not spending all my day hating on you, and that's my whole life. That's not what I'm out here doing, alright? But at the same time, pretty much, here's how it goes. You cannot be a pastor of a church. You can be a pastor of a something else. You can be a pastor of a whatever else building, alright? But you cannot be a pastor of a church while at the same time being a homosexual. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work, alright? Now, shoot, I'm all about freedom. You know, I want my own freedom. I want you to have your own freedom, right? Right? Maybe you're a homosexual, right? And like I said, I'm not hating on you. I know homosexuals. Right? I've known homosexuals. I'm not exactly hating on them necessarily. Maybe you are homosexual. Maybe you do want to go to a church. Alright, well, go to church. Find a church. First of all, like I said, most of these churches ain't worth going to, period. So you need to accept that. But find a church that doesn't dwell on hating on you, probably. It might be your best bet if you have to go to a church for whatever reason. But here's the thing about it. If you're going to a church, there's something you don't want to hear. If you're going to a church that is endorsing the homosexuality and it's encouraging it, well, then you're not going to a church at all. That's not a church, alright? And the reason for this is because the Bible itself kind of doesn't agree with that whole thing. It doesn't endorse it. right? And you might look at me and say, oh man, you're a mean hater and you're an unsuccessful loser and whatnot. Go for it. Call me any kind of names you want to call me. Right? But the Bible itself does not endorse that lifestyle. It just doesn't. Right? So therefore, a pastor who lives that way is kind of like you're spitting in the face of the Bible. So to create a church that endorses it, well, what you're creating is not a church, right? Basically, and so when you start creating churches that are not churches, when you start preaching the gospel but not the whole gospel, well, it's pretty easy to see that what you're doing is embracing lies, straight up and down lies, right? And I know I sound like a mean person for saying that. It's what the Bible says. I'm sorry about that. That's what it says. I can't change what it says. Right? I mean, I could try to sugarcoat it, but it says what it says. So you're not creating churches. What you're creating could be called a church of Satan. Because it's based on lies. It's because the church that you're creating is based on lies. It would be called the church of Satan. Now, like I said, most churches out there aren't worth going to at all. So you can call most churches in America today, you can quote me on this, you can call most churches churches of Satan. Not just the LGBT churches, but they are also included. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, this guy was a liar. I called him a liar since day one. Turns out, yeah, he's a liar, just like I said he's a liar. All the people agreeing with me, they had what's called discernment. And all the people who were disagreeing with me, they had what's called not discernment. And they don't go to churches. And it's May the 16th, 2016. We're balls deep in the tribulation.